As you watch the rest of this video series, I would like you all to imagine that you have just bought a little house and you live there with your husband or wife and your child. Maybe you had lived in a nearby city like Concord where it was crowded and loud, and you thought Hillsboro would be a nicer place to live. So after moving in one day, you decided to take a walk around the neighborhood and take a closer look at the downtown area that so far you've only driven past. Haven't been too busy with the move and your new house to really get out. From the passing view of a car, the downtown area looks like a normal little area filled with shops and decorated with banners that say Historic Hillsboro, home of Franklin Pierce, 14th president. And today, while taking a close look at the downtown area of historic Hillsboro, this is what you'll find. Not only is this place a ghost town, meaning every storefront in the downtown area is empty and disheveled looking, but there are several signs that something is not right with the people who live in this area. So before you start out, you tell your little boy or your little girl that you want to go out and take a walk and see the downtown area of this new place where you live. And you go outside and you walk across the street to take a closer look at an old building that appears to have been a service station called Kemp's. From where you live, the place across the street looks as if it has been decorated to resemble something from the past. So you decide to walk over to show your child the old-fashioned shop. Next, you walk down the sidewalk and you pause before the house a few houses down, and you see that it also has a sign stating that the property is a recently renovated antique house with some historical significance. You notice that the sign is an oval shape, designed almost exactly the same as the one that you have on your house. you make a right on Bridge Street and you walk up toward West Main Street. You pass a ramshackle building that looks almost condemned, and then see that it is connected to some of the storefronts in historic Hillsborough. You walk around this courtyard and take a look in the store windows to see that the stores have seemingly gone bankrupt, and whoever last occupied the building has left a number of strange things behind. So I would like you all to keep this in mind, putting yourself in the position of someone who has just moved into an area like this, thinking that everything is civil and orderly, and then one day, inspired to take a walk around your town, you find things in this state of decay. Now imagine moving into the area and putting whatever savings you have as a down payment on a little house, and then barely getting by every month. And then one day the factory where you or your spouse works lets you go without any notice. It's the only factory in Hillsborough, and if you go out looking for any other options, this is what you will find. Welcome to Hillsborough. So I want you all to keep that in mind while viewing the rest of this video series. So as you could see, it was getting dark and I could barely see into the shop windows. So I returned the next day to get better footage. So I'm now walking down the main street with the same plaza coming up on the right. As you could see, there is a little patio with the sitting area in the front of this storefront plaza. The more normal looking window has some dried flower arrangements and a sign that says dream until your dreams come true. Besides that, all the windows are covered up. There's no store hours sign, and it does not appear to be a real store. Someone has come along and decorated the place with corn stalks, and you'll see this all over the area, almost as if the children of the corn have taken over this place. Next, someone has scratched off some of the letters on this sign that appears to have said Wilson Group and now reads Il Sun Oop. Looking through the glass door, it looks as if the walls are being removed on the inside. On the back wall, it looks like new sheetrock has been installed. and toward the front there are piles of what look like old-fashioned insulation that the renovators have not bothered to sweep up and remove. There is an old wooden staircase between the two buildings, and you will notice a green color on the steps and on the handrail. And this, most likely, is the beginning of black mold, which appears green in color in the earlier stages of its development. The next store appears to have been a thrift store of some type. Through the window, I see a stroller, a baby carrier, and a rack filled with clothes for very young children. Everything in the store is thrown around and left in a state of disarray. There is also what appears to be part of an artificial Christmas tree and Christmas lights left on the floor. The date was November 15th of 2019, and I don't have any idea why someone would leave the store in this manner. In the window is a clock, a framed photograph of the White House, and a painting of a strange looking, I guess it's a woman, wearing what looks like a hood, and the painting appears to be signed Pelham. In the next storefront window, there is a very lifelike figure of what appears to be a ghoul. He is bald, with extremely dark circles around his eyes, and he is dressed in old-fashioned clothes. He is about the size of a mannequin and appears to be something out of a wax museum. He is holding a frying pan that contains something that looks like red rust or blood, dried blood. If you look closely, the pan is also covered with white hairs, and they look like they're from an animal. And if I had to guess, I'd say they're rabbit hairs. At the end of August of this year, I bought a pet rabbit for my two girls, and his hairs look almost exactly as these hairs in this frying pan. And there's a sticker on the pan that says, "Must clean thoroughly before use." The store is also left in a mess with stuff all over the floor. On the far wall of the shop is a shelf containing all sorts of kitchenware. There are also lamps, furniture, and what looks like a wine rack. There are also several trophies on the floor. Some appear to be for car racing. There are two strange paintings on the wall. They look like modern art with a design that resembles eyes. And right at this plaza is the town banner that proudly welcomes anyone to historic Hillsboro. home of Franklin Pierce, 14th president,